I think the term real estate investor gets thrown around
Oh yeah.
way too
There's
much.
a lot of those.
There's a lot of, yeah, exactly. But there's so many people who claim to be real estate investors, and it's like the weekend warrior. They have a house, they spent 6 months to flip it or whatever. That's great, but you're not you're a hobbyist. I understand you have an investment property, but you're a hobbyist. And like the reality when it comes to investing is that's a full-time gig.
Yeah.
You have to live it, eat it, breathe it, network about it. Like your entire identity is that. Because if you don't, you won't be having conversations like these about the market. Something will shift and you'll get left behind. And going back to what you're saying, having trusted people and having trusted real estate agents, I just exited a flip yesterday, or not even, it wasn't even a flip, it's a hotel yesterday. I bought it. I owned it for 76 days. Never once saw the property. Bought it from one of my clients, Corey Thompson. He's like, yeah, I'll sign it to you for $15,000, meaning he was able to make money. So he bought it at 7, signed it for 8. So he took the 8. And then he was like, hey, here's the realtor we use. And the realtor went out and put bandit signs all over that town because it was in Marlin, which is southeast of Waco. And 76 days later, we're closing at 35.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then I had a private money on it. So my out of pocket was $600, you know, but the point of that is not to dunk and like, hey, I have a house. Yeah. But it's like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go down to Marlin. I don't want to I don't want to field calls. I don't want to do showings. I don't even want to know where the key to the house is. Is there a key? I don't care. I'd rather have other people like professionals do it for me. And I think, you know, most people don't like, I wouldn't say I was a real estate investor because I just let somebody else do the work. Yeah. Just, you know, just give me the money.
But you are the investor because you're the bank.
I have my name's on the line.
Right.
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 So yeah, I'm in real estate.
Yeah. And I think I don't know how it is in other cities. And I'm not on dating apps. This is not like a shameless plug, but like, I think it's like a character trait of a lot of people, specifically in Dallas, to say they're a property investor, they're a real estate investor, because that looks really attractive. But the fact of the matter is they're not in the trenches.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like running the numbers. They're not doing these things. They're going in on a house with like their homie or their brother or something, and they're maybe making like a 3% margin. And they think that's real estate investing, which you can take that money and reinvest it and make it bigger and bigger every time. But I think more often than not, that's not what's happening.
I've never even thought about the social implication from a dating side of it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh. Yeah. So women aren't shallow. Got it. No, but it's funny because like the influencer world, the TikTok world, like I would say, so there's a guy I came across on TikTok, 300,000 followers, and he's like, you just make money in a thin air, and all he's doing is explaining wholesaling, and it's just like, okay, but he's making it seem like he made this up, and it's like, oh, magic, and they're like, yeah, and the dude's like 22. And he's an expert, and he's also an expert in crypto and blockchain and Bitcoin. And I was telling our team here, I was like, look, out of everybody in the world in Dallas, I would think that me and my 10 years past and being where I'm in the real estate world, I'm not saying I know everybody, but I know a couple people. And I would also say my affiliation with the Texas Blockchain Council, I'm pretty familiar with everybody in the, you know, some of the top players in the Bitcoin world, blockchain world. And I don't know this guy. And he has an office here in Dallas, an office at a Regis, which is probably just a mailing address. Something sounds, I'm going to use the term sus. Is that the right word?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trendy now. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm hip.
Oh man, no, you're not.
I'm not. Sus was so like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I think like to bring this full circle, like
back to real estate, right?
Yeah. In 2019, in 2020, it was really cool at the beginning of 2020, like to get your real estate license and be like the hot new realtor.
Right.
And then like this market has kind of like humbled a lot of people. And I don't know the washout rate like of realtors in the first year, but it's very high.
Yeah.
So I would imagine like the whole investor, and I say investor in quotations because it's the same thing. Like I would imagine maybe they try one flip or one hold, like, and they're okay.
It's a high churn.
Yeah.
Because like from the meetup standpoint, like because I've been thrown meetups for a while. 6 months.
Yeah.
If say you came to a monthly meetup, most likely in 6 months I'm not seeing you ever again.
Yeah.
And it's just so if you do see people all the time, they're like, oh, they're a real player.
Yeah. It's a grind. Like
yeah, it's work.
In July of this year, my position kind of like evolved into one of, I still do real estate full time, but I also train new agents and I bring them on board. And I started with 6 agents in July, and I think I have 4 left right now. And so we're talking a 6-month span. And then I start another class of 4 in January, which is literally in 2 days, but we're not starting until the 9th. But so at first I was like very overwhelmed at the thought of potentially having like 10 agents underneath me. And then I started to realize like, this is not for everyone. And after 3 months, which the first 3 months I truly believe is the hardest to be a realtor, because you're probably not going to do much. It's going to be very difficult. So if you can push past that 3 months, if you can push past that next chunk of 3 months to make it 6, and you can get to that year mark, it's about networking, and it's about meeting people and trying to genuinely be yourself and educate yourself as much as you can. And I think a lot of people don't want to put in that work to actually educate themselves and take the time to talk to people about what they do, and not just put this facade for like social media, like, and just go take pictures in houses and think that they're going to sell houses because they look good.